All right, thank you. So we are excited to talk to you about security analytics using WAF full logging. I'll kick this off by talking a little bit about WAF, and then I'll have Umesh further talk about or provide a demo of how WAF log works and provide some analytics using WAF logs. So kick this off, very quick agenda. For some of you who might be new to AWS WAF, we'll quickly do a 101 on what AWS WAF is, and then we'll talk about the WAF visibility, analytics capabilities, and then we'll move on to the demo portion. What is AWS WAF? So AWS WAF is nothing but a web application protection tool. You can use AWS WAF to filter bad traffic hitting your web applications. And here, bad traffic could be application vulnerabilities like SQL injection or cross-site scripting, or it could be bad bots or other bad actors like even DDoS attacks. WAF, you can think of AWS WAF specifically as a gatekeeper for your web applications on AWS. You can enable AWS WAF on application load balancers, so if your applications are behind an ALB, or you can also use CloudFront, which is available globally distributed edge locations, and WAF is available on each one of those edge locations. And you can use CloudFront that way in front of your applications on AWS or elsewhere as well. And WAF specifically is tuned for DevOps customizations, largely because of how it offers full-featured APIs and fast rule propagations. And all WAF features, just like any other AWS service, are pay-as-you-go. So you can use AWS WAF for automated protections for some of those advanced security requirements. And let's quickly look at what AWS WAF provides. So in a nutshell, with AWS WAF, you can, of course, write custom rules. You can totally customize WAF rules to tune to your own applications. For instance, you can whitelist a particular set of IP addresses because they are known good IP addresses of your developers, maybe. Or you can filter traffic by a particular user agent or a referrer header or any part of the incoming request. But in addition to the custom rules, you can really easily get started with AWS WAF using some of the managed rules. And some of you can even go even further and build security automations for some of the more advanced protections. Let's quickly look at what it actually means. So for managed rules, AWS provides integrations with several marketplace vendors. Today, AWS WAF offers integrations with 6 different vendors, and each of these vendors provides several marketplace products, and each of these products are rule groups or rule sets, which provide protections like OWASP Top 10 or protection against common vulnerabilities or zero-day attacks, or even bot protection or IP reputation lists, and so on. So you can very easily subscribe to any of these managed rules and quickly add them to your WAF configurations and deploy it on your application load balancers or CloudFront within just a matter of minutes. And all these rules are automatically updated by vendors, so you don't have to worry about staying up to date about new threats. And as I was talking about earlier, the more advanced version of implementing AWS WAF is using more security automations for newer evolving threats. And there are a couple of different ways you can build these automations. You can use some of the Lambda-based automations that AWS WAF provides, which simply uses the logs from various AWS services like CloudFront and ALB, and uses Lambda to analyze those logs in real time and automatically add new WAF rules. So that's a really powerful way to implement security for your applications, as you can even protect against threats which are not detected by pre-configured signatures. Similarly, The other kind of automation that we recently published was using Amazon Guard Duty. Guard Duty is a threat detection service which uses machine learning and anomaly detection to detect various threats in your AWS environment. And this particular automation helps you automatically add Guard Duty, bad actors detected by Guard Duty into AWS WAF. And both of these are available online, and just look for these integrations, and we will share the links to these automations separately after this webinar. So now that we had a quick look at what AWS WAF does, let's quickly also talk about what kind of analytics and visibility capabilities WAF provides, as that is a really important aspect of any firewall. So, as some of you might know, WAF already provides a couple of different ways of visibility. One is a CloudWatch metric, which gives you more real-time access to metrics, or rather I should say real-time access to data about how many requests are hitting AWS WAF and how many requests are matching a particular rule and so on. And these CloudWatch metrics are available for every rule that you write on AWS WAF, be it a managed rule or be it a custom rule that you wrote. WAF gives CloudWatch metrics on each one of these. And of course, whether you put your WAF on a count mode or a block mode, you still get metrics on each one of these. So, and you can set alarms on these metrics. For instance, you could set alarms on elevated number of requests matching a particular rule, say a SQL injection rule. Or you could set you could set an alarm on large number of IP addresses being blocked by, say, a rate-based rule on AWS WAF, and so on. So these CloudWatch metrics are something that you would use for notification in real time when something goes wrong or you find a threat on AWS WAF. In addition, WAF also provides sample web requests. These are samples of raw requests that WAF sees as is from the end client. So this gives you all the headers and cookies and IP addresses and URLs and everything that is available in incoming request, and gives you a sample of those. So, and these sample requests are available for every rule that you write. That means when there is a match against a particular rule on a request, you can go to the sample web request to very quickly know why that particular request was blocked, or why are there sudden increase in number of requests being blocked by that particular rule. And the good thing about sample web requests is that this is available natively via AWS console. So it's very easy to navigate and use sample requests to quickly test your WAF rules when the first time you write rules, or even triage when there is a large number of blocks on a particular rule and so on. And as I said, this is available right on the AWS WAF console. And the new type of logs, or analytic, I should say visibility, that we recently launched is the AWS WAF full logs. Unlike sample web requests, full logs provide detailed logs for every request that is inspected by AWS WAF. And you enable full logs for your web ACL as opposed to enabling it for every rule. But that doesn't mean you lose the visibility, because full logs includes, in addition to including every request inspected by WAF, it also includes for each one of those requests, it includes which rule or set of rules match that particular request. So now that you have all these details about incoming request and what kind of operations WAF performed and what rules it matched, you can use these detailed logs for security analytics or real-time monitoring or even automations and so on. So let's quickly look at what are the other features of WAF full logs in a little more detail. So WAF logs are streamed to you, and specifically they are available via Kinesis Data Firehose, which is a streaming platform to consume real-time data. And these logs are currently delivered to you with a JSON format, and the format of which is available on our AWS documentation. And as I mentioned earlier, you have logs for every request inspected by AWS WAF, along with all the details like the request headers or the cookies and IP addresses and so on. And along with that, you of course have the rule IDs of all the rules that match that particular request. But just because WAF logs all the details doesn't mean you need to log sensitive data as well. You can use WAF logs to redact sensitive fields. For instance, you could, if you think that your cookies are sensitive, or if you have some customers have auth headers, which they don't want to log. So in those cases, you can simply redact those fields from WAF logs. And again, this can be done via AWS WAF console or the APIs. And Umesh will talk about this in more detail and walk you through how to configure WAF logs later in a bit. And the good thing about WAF logs delivering streaming logs to Kinesis Data Firehose is that once it's delivered to Data Firehose, you can specify multiple destinations. You can choose from any of these 4 natively supported destinations on Data Firehose. You can send the log files to S3, or send it to Redshift or Elasticsearch, or even send it to Splunk, who is one of our partners for SIM integrations. But why do you send these to different destinations? There are some of the key reasons why which destination you would use for which of these for different purposes. For instance, if you have compliance and auditing requirements, often a lot of customers tell us that they need to use AWS WAF for PCI compliance. But as part of that, they also need to store the logs for a specified period of time for compliance reasons, primarily because maybe they want to audit the WAF logs or events at a later point of time in future. In those cases, you can simply dump the logs into Amazon S3. And Kinesis Data Firehose gives you a really easy way to do that. Or you can use AWS WAF logs to deep dive into some of these security events. What if WAF starts blocking several requests based on SQL injection attempts? You might want to know who are these bad actors who are causing SQL injection attempts. Are these coming from particular geography, or are these coming from a particular set of IP addresses, and so on? You can now use AWS WAF logs to deep dive into those. And you can also use WAF logs because it's streamed continuously. You can use this for continuous monitoring. And when you monitor, you can also take automated responses based on that. Or you can build security analytics on top of WAF logs and know about some of the deeper insights, like get information about the top talkers, like top geos that are hitting your application. And you can find out if the top geos have changed from 5 weeks ago, and so on. And lastly, you can use WAF logs to integrate with SIM vendors, or SIM partners, I should say. And we have partnered with popular SIM tools like Splunk and Sumo Logic, who can ingest WAF logs and who have built add-ons to provide pre-built dashboards, and also use some of their own threat intelligence to provide additional insights into AWS WAF events, in addition to what AWS WAF already provides. All right. So very quickly, now talking about security analytics itself, what kind of security analytics can you build on top of AWS WAF logs? There are some common patterns that have evolved since we launched WAF logs. So one of the patterns that we have seen customers use is how you can use Amazon Elasticsearch and its natively supported Kibana to analyze WAF logs in real time and produce customized dashboards. And this is one such architecture. Or, as I was talking about earlier, you could use some of our SIM partners like Splunk and Sumo, who have their own integrations with WAF logs to build your own customized security analytics. For instance, Splunk has enabled a new add-on for AWS WAF logs that allows you to centralize and centrally analyze your logs from AWS WAF, including logs from other sources as well. Sumo Logic also has a dedicated app for AWS WAF, which provides some pre-configured dashboards and search capabilities. And these dashboards automatically use some of the threat intelligence that Sumo Logic already has to provide new insights and analytics on top of what WAF provides on the console. So if you are looking for these additional integrations, you can use one of these add-ons or from Sumo Logic or the Sumo Logic app, add-ons from Splunk and or the app from Sumo Logic to integrate WAF logs into these SIM solutions. And outside of that, of course, you can use Amazon WAF logs with Amazon Athena. And for this, we're going to have actually go through a demo, and I'm going to request that Umesh help us walk through that demo of how you can use WAF logs with Athena.
Thanks, Venkat, for the WAF log introduction. So, as Venkat mentioned about here now at this demo, we're going to talk about how we can use Amazon Athena and Amazon Quickside to implement the security analytics solution. So before that, I just want to run through and briefly present as to what Athena and Quickside are, and then go over the solution. So Amazon Athena is an interactive query service that makes it really easy to analyze data in Amazon S3 using your standard SQL. So here are some of its features that makes it really unique. This service decouples storage from compute, allowing customers to scale and manage storage and compute needs independently. The same data may have different compute needs, such as EMR, Athena, or Redshift. And Amazon Athena, it's serverless. Athena is fully managed serverless service. No need to understand scaling or compute optimization. Regarding cost, you pay only for the data scanned. Customers are charged only for how much data was scanned by the query. There are several levers: compression, file format, partitioning, to enable customers to reduce cost. Schema on read is another unique feature that it offers. Customers can create different tables and run different queries representing many independent views of the data, all while the underlying data remains unchanged. Security. So it also, for authentication and authorization, it is integrated with IAM. So query is encrypted with S3 buckets. Write output is an encrypted S3 bucket, and which is critical for sensitive workloads. No proprietary file formats. Fully standard and open source file formats give customers the freedom to use their data where and how they see fit. This ties well, with the decoupled storage and compute. Yeah, it also supports Hive and Presto, that are the open source software products which are baked by large and active communities, given its stability, maturity, and quick pace of innovation. Now, moving on to Amazon Quickside. So Amazon Quickside is a very fast, easy to use, cloud-powered business analytics service that makes it easy for all the employees within an organization to build visualizations, perform ad hoc analysis, and quickly get business insights from their data anytime on any device. Upload CSV and Excel files. You can connect to SaaS applications like Salesforce, access on-premises databases like SQL Server or MySQL and PostgreSQL, and also seamlessly discover your AWS data sources such as Amazon Redshift, Amazon RDS, Amazon Aurora, and Amazon Athena, and Amazon S3. So Quickside enables organizations to scale their business analytics capabilities to hundreds of thousands of users, and at the same time delivers fast and responsive query performance by using a robust in-memory engine called Spice. So now going over the solution, here is a solution overview of how we would implement this here's the architecture for how we want to implement the solution. So WAF logs are streamed to S3 bucket in JSON format using Amazon Kinesis data firehose that Venkat had briefly mentioned about. We will then execute the AWS Glue data cataloging crawler job, which reads the data and interprets the metadata and creates Amazon Athena table that can be analyzed. Now that the data is available in Amazon Athena, we can configure Amazon Quickside using Amazon Athena as the data source and use a specific SQL to pull out all the important fields in the JSON structure. You can build various visualizations and dashboards to draw insights from these WAF logs. Now is the part of the demo where we'll really show you, show you working of how this architecture works. Okay, so now we are on the web console on AWS. I've logged in, and really when it comes to enabling WAF logging, there are two parts to it. One is to set up a Firehose delivery stream that will be used to stream the log data. And the second part is, to enable logging for a specific webACL. So on the service console, you can type in Firehose and go to the Firehose delivery stream. So here you're seeing all the active streams that are created in this account. And the one that was created, is the one that starts with AWS WAF logs. So we should follow this naming convention as AWS WAF filters all the streams, starting with this keyword as AWS WAF logs while displaying the delivery stream. As I drill down on the same, you'll see the details of the delivery stream. In this example, we have created a new Firehose delivery role to grant access to S3 bucket, where the logs will be stored. Source will be direct put or other sources. And in this example, we have set the record transformation to disabled, as there are no transformations being performed. Record format conversion is also disabled, as we'll be reading the JSON files for now. However, you have the option of converting the JSON object to Apache Parquet or Apache ORC format for better query performance. S3 backup is also disabled in this case, as we are choosing the destination as S3 bucket. Compression and encryption is also disabled in this example, but you can always enable them to make sure you have your data compressed to use minimal storage and you have your data encrypted. CloudWatch error logging is enabled for troubleshooting purposes. Once the Firehose delivery stream is set up, you can now search for WAF on the service console. To navigate to AWS WAF. So here you select your specific webACL for which you're planning to enable WAF logging. So in this example, we'll be selecting a webACL in the US East region. So click through US East and you'll see all the webacles that's open for it. Click through the webacle for which you want to enable logging. And under the logging tab, you just got to click on enable logging. So once you drill down on on one of the webacles, go to the logging tab and just hit enable logging. So here are the options that you see for enable logging. And here is the Firehose delivery stream that you just created or that I just showed, which you got to choose here. And this is the one that starts with AWS WAF logs. So once you select that, you can also choose the fields that you want to redact so that they're excluded in your logs. So you can choose the header, and you can also choose the fields that you want to for this to be excluded in your logs. So as part of this demo, I'm going to go ahead and cancel this and go with the webacle for which I've already enabled the logging. And this is the one for which we already have the logging enabled. We'll now search for Glue to set up a crawler job in AWS Glue. Now, before we go there, what is a crawler? We basically use a crawler to populate the AWS Glue data catalog with tables. Let me go over there and then tell you more about AWS Glue. So you add a crawler within your data catalog to traverse your data stores like S3. The output of the crawler consists of one or more metadata tables that are defined in your data catalog. ETL jobs that you define in AWS Glue use these metadata tables as source and targets. So when you define a crawler, you choose one or more classifiers that evaluates the format of your data to infer a schema. Like in this example, if it's a JSON, you'll have it'll have an inbuilt classifier that it will select, and the crawler job runs, and the first classifier in your list will be running to successfully recognize your data stored and is used to create the schema for your table. You can use built-in classifiers or define your own. AWS Glue provides built-in classifiers to infer schemas from common file formats, right from JSON to CSV and Apache Avro. Now, click on Add Crawler and type in a relevant name. And once you hit Next, select the data store as S3, which is the default here. And here you can type in the S3 bucket name. So this should ideally be the name of the bucket that is referred in your delivery, the Firehose delivery stream that was initially displayed. We'll choose No here for adding another data source. You can create a role that grants access to S3 bucket for the Glue service to access the log files as well. You can, looks like I need to go with the unique name there. So you can set the frequency to run on demand or schedule it to run periodically to make sure any changes in the file structure reflects in your data catalog. In the output, you can choose the database in which the Athena table is to be created and add a prefix to identify your table name easily. So here I could choose sample and say if I add JSON, the new table that it's going to create will have the JSON keyword as prefixed. which will basically just help you to identify your table easily. So again, for the purpose of this demo, we already have a crawler job that was created and run against the S3 bucket that was created for the WAF logs as the data source. I mean the data store. So now on console, I'll go back and I'll open up the crawler job that was created. So this was the crawler job that was created, which would have created an Amazon Athena table. Now on the service console, you can search for Athena to open up Amazon Athena. And here it shows all your tables that were created for this database. This is the one that was created for for our crawler job. So I'm going to paste the query here, that basically lists the content of the table. And here you're seeing that it's displaying all the fields as is. And for certain fields, you'll see that there's the JSON structure that you can see. Like for instance, the HTTP request here. So we can extract all the fields using another query that I'm going to paste here. So basically in this query, I'm just extracting all the fields. Let me execute the query. Now on the service console, so yeah, here is the query that executed, and you're seeing all the fields extracted separately. That way, you could easily use all these fields and their content in Quickside. Now on service console, search for Quickside. This is to open AWS Quickside. So here, once you see this opening, okay, yeah. So now that it's open, you can create a new analysis by clicking on New Analysis. And here again, choose New Data to select, Athena as your data source. So here are the other different data source options that you're getting. For this example or this demo, we are going with Athena. And type in a relevant name. Create the data source. So here I'm going to use a custom SQL, and the SQL that I had displayed there, I'm going to paste it here, and then I'm going to hit edit and preview data. So here, once I hit, I can choose Spice so that it's using the Spice engine in the backend for this. And once I hit finish now, you'll see that the SQL executes and it'll display all the data. And this we are accessing from Quickside. So on the left panel here, expand the field sections. And here, I could go ahead and modify the timestamp field, the timestamp data type from number to date, just so that you'll have the date values as date that you could use and visualize in your visualizations. So here you see the date Unix timestamp converted to dates. So here I could type in a relevant name and save and visualize this. So I'm going to call it WAF logs analysis. So here you can create various visualization dashboards using multiple visual types using the easy drag and drop features. For the first one, let's drag and drop the country, and it displays, we can display it as a pie chart so that you really know what all different countries are used. Here you can create another one by adding, action. So in this dashboard, I'm just going to pull in action to see, in terms of the requests, how are they divided in terms of what are blocked and what are allowed. And here is another dashboard that shows count by the client IPs, and we can also group it by action. So you now have it showing up by client IPs that I can scroll down, and once you add action as well, so it has literally grouped all of the requests by client IPs, and also showing what's allowed and what are blocked here. Yeah. Similarly, say I can add another dashboard. I'm just adding more dashboards, to give you a feeling and understanding as to how easy it is to create dashboards, and how Quickside is built in to really assess what field you're pulling in, and it'll decide the right graph for you. And you also have the option to customize and change the graph options if you want to go with a different visual type. So after the client IP, now we can try, say for the HTTP method, to really understand how many posts or write upsert requests were there, or how many get or read requests were there. And this again is something you can do it by action. I generally stick to grouping most of these dashboards by action, because I'll be more interested in knowing what are the ones that were blocked and what are the ones that were allowed, because you'll get a sense as to how many were really blocked. And yeah, here is another one which, the timestamp that we added. So you could add timestamp and create a graph, which will give you a timeline graph to understand by action as to how, where are the blocks or where are the spikes in terms of timeline. And you could also, use the timestamp by adding a filter here. By adding specific filters for specific fields, say for example on timestamp, I could put in a filter, and I'll choose timestamp here, and I could put in a range. Say I'll take it for the last week. Last week to this week. And all I got to do is apply, and you'll see the graph with the revised data. That's for the filter that I just applied. And you can also, with all these dashboards that I just created, you could also create a story for this. All you got to do is just hit capture, and it creates a storyboard for you that is going to display it as a snapshot at that point that you're seeing there. You could PDF it and share it with the business teams, or try to publish these and publish it across to other users to share it in this account. So for now, I'll stop the story. Yeah, and here is how you just share it and publish the dashboard to other users within your account. So yeah, I'm hoping this demo was really helpful, and I just went through a part of what's achievable, and if you explore more, you'll really be amazed to know that there are a lot of other things that you could do. Very soon we're going to publish a blog as well on this, that will walk you through the steps that I just went over, which should help you to really go in depth as well. Thanks for your time, and happy building. I'm handing it over to Venkat now.
All right. Thanks, Umesh. Thanks for the demo. So that brings us to the end of this session. So today, as we saw, you can now use WAF full logs, and Umesh walked us to how you can use WAF full logs with Athena, and soon we'll be publishing that in a blog so that you have the steps to actually do it yourself. In addition, we also saw some of the other potential ways you can use full logs by leveraging these partner integrations with SIM or even Elasticsearch integrations and so on. So in addition to that, here are some of these references to various things that we talked about in this webinar. You can learn more by visiting the AWS WAF logs documentation, learn from all the other security automations that we have published. We also briefly talked about how you can use WAF and guard duty to automatically block the bad actors found by guard duty. And I also mentioned Splunk and Sumo logic integrations. And of course, the manage rules on AWS WAF to quickly get started with AWS WAF with common set of rules. So yeah, all this webinar will be available to you, or the recording and the slides will also be available to you after this. So please do take a look at these references and get started with AWS WAF as soon as possible. Thank you very much, everyone.